It's a widely known truth in Ireland that the best way to drink Irish whiskey is while sitting in a green field in the shadow of a distillery while fair maidens dance around you singing the haunting lyrics of Carrickfergus. Now, if you don't have access to a green field, an Irish distillery, or a host of fair maidens, but you can get your hands on a drop of our lovely brown water, then this episode of Stories and Sips is just for you. Welcome to episode number 6 of Stories and Sips, where this Irishman introduces unsuspecting Americans to the tales and tastes of Irish whiskey, so that they'll abandon their scotch and their bourbon and pledge allegiance to the far more rewarding Irish whiskey. Thank you, as always, to our sponsor, Irish Whiskey Magazine. In this episode, I'm going to talk at tremendous length about the right way to drink Irish whiskey. Beside me, I have a lovely bottle of Writer's Tears Copper Pot Irish whiskey, which I will be sipping on for the duration of this episode. Now, you might think that the right way to drink Irish whiskey is whatever way you yourself prefer it. And I'm not going to argue with your right to utter such nonsense. But in this episode, I'm going to make the case for what I believe to be the right way to drink our lovely liquid. Now, for hundreds of years, all things Irish have been leaving the green shores of the Emerald Isle bound for America. And somewhere between Ballydehob and Boston, or between Athlone and Arizona, Irish exports underwent a change. Guinness became a one-part pour as soon as it hit American shores. Irish names were bastardized at Ellis Island. Kathleen became Caitlin, and Ciara became Ciara. St. Patrick's Day became about kegs and green eggs. Some fools started stirring Irish coffees, and Irish whiskey started to be used for shots. Travesties, all, especially the last one. See, today, 80% of the whiskey sold in America is downed as shots, whether it's Irish, Scotch, bourbon, or Canadian. For the uninitiated, a shot is a single pour of liquor served in a small glass. The liquid is downed in one swallow and the glass slammed onto the counter with the cracking noise of a gunshot. Welcome to America. Now, I'm not here to argue the merits or the demerits of shots generally, and they do appear to be an important bonding exercise for the average American who is part of a group night out. However, Irish whiskey didn't spend 3 years in a barrel to be downed in 3 seconds. And I count a few pitfalls to doing shots of Irish whiskey. The first is you only taste the burn, not the beauty of what was in the glass. Secondly, you ignore the craft of Irish whiskey making and other smaller produced Irish whiskies that you could be introduced to. You get drunk faster, and drinking Irish whiskey the right way is not about getting drunk. In fact, public service announcement, all alcohol should of course be consumed in moderation. So then, how should one drink Irish whiskey to meet my ridiculously high standards? Well, there is a spectrum. Shots on the lower end, and then Irish whiskey neat in a nice tasting or nosing glass like this at the higher end. You see, with this glass you can use your hand to warm the liquid a little, and you can let the aroma concentrate around the top of the glass towards your nose, and you can sip it gently. Now, that's on the high end. More common in Ireland is a smaller glass, like a small rocks glass that you might put your toothbrush in. Now, a glass of whiskey should take you some time to drink. Enough time to think about its provenance, its history, its story, the ingredients, the flavors up front, at the end, everything in between. Think about all that has happened during the 3, 12 or even 32 years that the whiskey has been aging. For me, the older the whiskey, the longer I like to take sipping it. Add a drop of water to open it up a little to taste if you like. I won't take you out at dawn and shoot you if you do, but as this is my episode, I get to foist my unsolicited opinions upon you, and for me, this is how to drink Irish whiskey the right way. Save your shots for alcohol that has never seen the inside of a barrel. And if you're a distillery or a whiskey brand, wouldn't you want your customers to savour and sip the whiskey that took so long to mature? Of course you would. And when your customers enjoy the taste, they might try another in your range and then another. Of course, there are other ways to drink Irish whiskey. You can drink it in a cocktail, on the rocks, with a mixer, and for me those fall somewhere between a shot and a sip. Look, at the end of the day, the choice is yours. But if you love Ireland and you want to be accepted by self-respecting Irish people, whether they're in America or in Ireland, order your whiskey neat, as old as you can afford it, and sip it while engaging in conversation with your fellow man or woman. That's how you make the most of Irish whiskey. That's how you drink Irish whiskey. Sláinte.